We are 24 Designs, Jeff Gordon Graphics and more. We make custom graphics, logos, and even iRacing paint schemes. Check us out on the web at www.24-designs.com for requests today. Again, that is 24-designs.com. 24 Designs, where the best graphics are made.
A comm comes over the spectrum with a job. All it says is an amount of cargo, a delicate timetable, and a risky route. You know you've got 42 cubic meters to pack full of profit. We're talking pressurized and shock-resistant construction, so whatever you put in here comes out the same way. You got two Arc Duo 400 engines. Their award-winning colloid ion technology gives you maximum fuel efficiency while keeping your SIG low. Come across a couple of pirates.
Hey, Lancer, you know the drill.
But with a weapons system featuring trusted names like Bering and Kronik, you aren't too worried.
Commercial vessel, Freelancer class. Rig tags look good. Cleared for landing at Area 18.
You're the one they come to when they need a job done right. Because you trust one ship. Misk Freelancer. Built for life.
We are 24 Designs, Jeff Gordon Graphics and more. We make custom graphics, logos, and even iRacing paint schemes. Check us out on the web at www.24-designs.com for requests today. Again, that is 24-designs.com. 24 Designs, where the best graphics are made.
Welcome live to Checkered Flag Interactive. Steve Bonesteel, Shane Doherty, as always, up here in the booth as we are getting set and ready here for the UpperEdge Racing CMC Sportsman Series as they continue on through the season here. Looking like another competitive night for sure here at Chicagoland Speedway. 75 degrees here as the season continues on. It's mostly sunny here, and with the new dynamic track surfaces in effect, we've already seen that this track provides some pretty exciting action, and with just a few moments wrapping up and qualifying here, these drivers are continuing on past the halfway point in the season, and this race is for sure going to be a title point for how things go over the next few weeks.
Yeah, definitely, Steve. We go from last week, Road America, the winding turns, the twisting turns, really, back to the mile-and-a-half at the Chicagoland Speedway, and tonight is going to be one of those races where you're going to see guys run up front that have run up front all season, and see some new faces as well. Chicago, a very unique racetrack, and these guys getting ready for quite a lot of laps tonight, and what should be a lot of great racing action.
Yeah, with the season, winding down, there's no championship chase here in the CMC Sportsman Series this time around. Wink, wink. You never know what's coming next season. And, it's going to make things a little different here for a lot of these drivers, as most of them, for a while now, we've seen chases in almost every single series. This is one of the few ones we still don't.
Yeah, that's really interesting, and I think we can think of one person who really doesn't want to chase. That'd be Corey Hoover, who has a 62-point lead over Austin Hartenfels, and from there on, it's more and more points, so he's definitely one of those guys maybe smiling right now, but for other guys, I think a chase would really benefit them, and something to think about, I guess, for the officials in next season here in the CMC Sportsman Series. Only around their second or third season coming up, so they obviously have been here for a little bit of time, and this would be something to consider here for the next season.
And as a qualifying is rounding out, a couple things to note: you don't see in the top 10 Corey Hoover or Austin Hartenfels, and you don't see Austin Hartenfels in the top 20 either, because I don't believe Austin Hartenfels is here today.
Yeah, definitely do not see Austin's car registered. Corey is. He's down in 16th in qualifying currently with about 6.5 minutes left, so some interesting developments here to watch.
We're going to throw it off for a quick commercial break. When we come back, we've got the start of the race for you.
We are 24 Designs, Jeff Gordon Graphics and more. We make custom graphics, logos, and even iRacing paint schemes. Check us out on the web at www.24-designs.com for requests today. Again, that is 24-designs.com. 24 Designs, where the best graphics are made.
A comm comes over the spectrum.
Now, Shane, before we get down to racing here tonight, let's talk for a hot second here a little bit about this speedway. One of the newer speedways here on the NASCAR circuit can hold up to 75,000 fans here any given weekend. And it was broke ground 2 days before my birthday, on September 28th, 1999, and officially opened in 2001. And since then, it's become one of the most exciting tracks here in Joliet, Illinois. And these fans always seem to love it here. And as well as, I mean, I love it myself. It really has come a long ways. And with the new dynamic track surface, Shane, I mean, this place has become a much more exciting track here on the iRacing.com service. And, I mean, we've gone to quite a few races here over the past few weeks at this track. And it's a little bit abnormal how many races we've done here, but they've been exciting.
They definitely have, and one of them has been different compared to the others, and I think tonight we're going to see, once again, a very different race, similar in some points, but really, these UpperEdge guys, they do a nice job of searching around the track and really creating that racing action that we love, enjoy to watch as well. And these guys tonight at Chicagoland, I think everyone pretty much coming here is happy about it. It's a really fun racetrack, as you said, Steve, to race at and also to watch. And it's one of the older surfaces still left. It's a newer track, but still has the original surface. But, I mean, hey, I don't think anybody complaining about it. It gives it its character and really creates that awesome racing action that we all love about it.
And right now, with just a few moments left in qualifying the final round here, wrapping up, it's a battle between Chris Wright and J.D. Laird for the pole position. Byron Daly also up there in the top 5. Chad Coleman, Colin Bowden, as well as Mark Roppolo, Shane Tarian. All of those drivers, I mean, there's a lot of new names up inside this top 10 here tonight that are looking to convert and bring home some nice points.
Yeah, definitely. And Chris Wright, what an awesome job that would be if he can hang on to the pole here. Got a minute and a half left. Got it almost half a tenth, not quite, but that would definitely be cool to see Chris Wright on the pole tonight. Byron Daly, J.D. Laird, Chad Coleman, all those guys very fast, well known in the iRacing service, and Mark Roppolo in 5th there. That's a pretty good qualifying effort for that team, and could definitely start his race off on the right foot.
And really, it's about seeing if you can get that momentum here to close out the season. And if you're not in a place to get that championship, it's all about getting the momentum you need to go into the next season here, so that next time around for the CMC Sportsman Series, when it kicks back off in January, you're going to go in with some momentum, a little more experience, and you might just be able to tackle some of these drivers that just never seem to give up on that top spot on top of the standings. Here is Chris Wright's gap to now Byron Daly in P2. He's getting a little bit closer. So just a couple more seconds left in qualifying, but I mean, it's been pretty competitive. Look at those top 10 in times. 2/10 separates the entire 10 of them. And really, if you take away the top 3, it's only about a 10th separating most of the top 10.
And that means these guys are going to be on top of each other all night, and that means searching for grip and trying different lines, experimenting with this new dynamic track surface. This is still one of those mile-and-a-half racetracks these guys don't have a lot of experience at, because as you said before, Steve, we usually don't come here a lot. So going to be a lot of learning tonight, not only for tonight's race, but mile-and-a-half tracks in general.
Yeah, there's just a lot to learn here, and qualifying is wrapping up now. So that means qualifying times will be set in stone here. There's no more improving, and that's kind of how it's going to be. But I'll toss it down to the infield here to get opening ceremonies kicked off. We'll be back in just a moment. Field is rolling behind the American Childhood Cancer Organization pace car here, rolling in the 3 and 4 Steve Bone Steel Shane Doherty every week here Thursday night 9 p.m. on Checkered Flag Interactive, your source for everything sim broadcasting here. We are getting ready to go green flag racing here tonight for Chicagoland. It's the CMC Sportsman Series. As we continue on here, Chris Wright's going to be leading him down in the number 20 on the inside line. Byron Daly on the outside line. Pace car down in the pit road here. The field to the attention of the number 20. Green flag in the air. We are racing here for the CMC Sportsman Series at Chicagoland.
26 cars take the green flag, and they are all quick to go side by side. 3 wide in the back for a split second. Michael McLean tries the outside line. Everyone pretty much on top of each other as they make their way down the back straightaway.
3 wide for a hot second there with Davis in the middle there. On the outside line, Byron Daly trying to make it work. Chad Coleman also up there. And taking a look, it looks like we've got that number 78 looking to get back up into the action here. We have not seen him for a little bit here in the CMC Sportsman Series, but way in the back there, almost 4 wide.
Yeah, how those guys held that together, pretty amazing. And they're going to sort it out.
Or at least they're trying to sort it out, even going into 3 and 4 here. A lot of these boys still right on top of each other. Into the corner once again, trying to figure out where they want to be. Byron Daly takes the lead, however, and he's going to move up to that top spot here, cross the line, lead his first lap of the night in that number 93 machine. And they're still duking it all out behind him. Corey Hoover is on the outside of number 5, Joseph Tice there. He's got Bronson Stafford, Zach Michael around him, and we're wrecking, big wreck in the back. That was the leader that went around. We are wrecking all over. This is going to be a huge, huge wreck.
Big problems across the field, several cars involved. It was Byron Daly that went around in front of the entire field, and several cars nowhere to go.
Looks like Chris Wright possibly might have made some contact there, sending him around. He gets nailed. Davis goes around. Screen freezes. Continues. Bronson Stafford makes it. Ryan Dyson does not. Let's ride on board with Ryan Dyson.
Yeah, several cars went low behind the apron there, and they got involved, unfortunately. The guys who were up against the wall, Corey Hoover, also Justin Michael up there in the 14, they were able to stay clear of it, but Ryan Dyson, wow, what a ride that was.
And that is a shame for Ryan Dyson there, getting involved. Did all the right things, but I guess in the end just should have stopped at that point. Wow.
That's actually Zach, Mike. Sorry about that, Zach. But nonetheless, yeah, definitely tough break for Ryan and several other guys in the back half of the field. Only a couple laps in, and their night's pretty much over.
And that is just such a hard break for a lot of drivers there. It looks like car count, at least 5 drivers will either be close to retiring or will be retiring after that one. I saw quite a few engines expire on those hits. But Colin Bowden will be the recipient of the lead position here. The top 8 decided to stay out. Everyone else did go down pit road. Looks like Mike Kellier will head down pit road here as the Ford Mustang pace car lights go off. We'll go back to racing here after a huge wreck here early on.
And that took on a lot of fast cars, as you said, Steve. Also some guys who didn't get qualifying run they wanted were back in the pack, and us caught up in that wreck. So unfortunate for them. And with that, a completely new running order up front. Colin Bowden's out front, started 6th already in the lead, couple laps into the race. So impressive job for Bowden. Also Michael Daria from the 8th starting spot up to 2nd. J.D. Laird, pretty much the only car left out of the original top 5 in the top 5. Also Mark Roppolo and Mark Murphy back there, rounding out your top 5 for this restart.
The biggest beneficiary was Corey Hoover there, choosing not to go down pit road and then benefiting from about 5-6 cars in front of him wrecking out there early on. But we will be going back to green here, and hopefully for a little bit longer of a period. This is just a lot of hard breaks for a lot of drivers here early on, but pace cars back down. Attention to Colin Bowden. Colin Bowden's going to get jumped by Laria, and whoa, Nelly, that inside line took off without him.
Definitely did, and Michael Laria is going to rock to the lead on the inside line. Going to bring J.D. Laird and the 23 along with him there. They're in the inside, working strong off turn 2.
coming up off the corner already, 3 wide. Bradley Burke up to the wall. Notice a lot of pink for Breast Cancer Awareness Month here, as these drivers trying to sort themselves out. Bradley Burke all the way out by that wall, still here trying to sort himself out. The outside line is the place to be early on. Colin Bowden still trying to pick up those positions. He quickly lost on the start of this restart here. Mark Garoppolo looks underneath. He's not going to be able to do anything with it. Here comes Corey Hoover looking on the outside line. And that number 33 machine, that Hunt Brothers Pizza number 33, is going to probably be able to peek a nose in somewhere here on this number 78. He's going to think about it. J.D. Laird is getting worked on by Mark Murphy. Mark Murphy with the big dive through the corner there, being able to pass that Aquatech machine up off that corner.
Lots of position changes early on. These guys definitely not shying away from the racing, and they are going all over the place, inside, middle groove, also up toward the wall, and look a little bit farther back there around the 7th spot or so. A returning regular, Bronson Stafford, back tonight in the 39 car. Something to mention there. Good to see him back running strong so far.
Michael McLean also trying to make the moves here, working into the top 10. He is trying to make a pass on Bradley Burke. Bradley's on that inside line, looks a little bit unstable. Bronson Stafford got on by. Corey Hoover still working on theirs. Bradley Burke gets real loose on that inside line. We're single filing out here quickly at Chicagoland, and we'll just have to see how long that lasts.
Definitely, as Doy Woods tries the outside there in the 91 car over Mark Garoppolo, and now Corey Hoover, he tries the apron and almost gets really loose. Had a moment there for a second. Always something interesting when you see cars duck below that apron down the front straightaway. Slight advantage, I guess. It's a shorter distance, but definitely the car gets very loose, so we'll kind of see if they get more drivers use that towards the end of the race as Corey Hoover works on J.D. Laird for the 4th spot.
Corey Hoover all the way down to the grass, almost getting that left front into the grass there, as he will complete that pass almost on J.D. Laird. J.D. is still in that outside line, and it looks like he's gonna get a little bit of a delay in front of him there, as Corey Hoover is able to come up in front of him, make that pass with success. And then looking through the field, most of the other drivers cycling themselves on through. Chris Wright, our pole sitter, all the way back into 9th, he did make a pit stop. And then looking back a little bit further, Bradley Burke continuing to fall back here, now outside the top 15 almost, and he's quickly falling back.
Got quite a few comers and goers, and quite a lot of cars outside the top 10 are now specifically up against that wall almost in turns 1 and 2, at least that last time by. Just trying some things. They know they're not in the main draft or toward the top 5, so just trying to put something together and starting to see more and more guys migrate around and just try some new things early on.
Zach Michael getting passed here by the number 4 of Justin Krasinski. The 14 Road Wife machines up on that high side is just not working for him. Here is the number 4 Bradley, excuse me, Krasinski's gonna go around there. He's gonna loop it down on the back straightaway. No caution. He's in the grass.
And since that car is stopped side the grass area, as you said, Steve, there will be no caution, so we stay green. Topic for Justin, definitely going to need a caution to get back with the main pack. But for the time being, pretty much single file up front is the top 5 starting to really separate themselves. But just as we start to say that, Mark Murphy putting some serious pressure on Michael Laria for the lead.
Yeah, Laria there has that number 48 all over his back bumper there as they both kind of slide it up off that corner. Colin Bowden is picking up the pace here in that number 78 machine, and he is looking pretty darn quick right now as well. Currently the fastest car on track is Colin Bowden, so these boys better figure out what they want to do quickly, or else they're going to have someone else knocking on their door.
Yeah, Colin Bowden's one of those guys who really likes the mile and a half. Got a win at it, almost got a win in Atlanta once. last season, so he's always been strong in the mile and a half. It seems like wherever we go, that 78 car toward the front and in contention when it counts. See what kind of finish he can pull out tonight. But as you said, Steve, one of the fastest cars on the racetrack, and he's got Corey Hoover, one of the fastest and hottest drivers in the series right now, right behind him. So these guys coming to the front in a hurry and could possibly be up there for a 4-car battle for the lead.
And I may be wrong on this one, but I do believe either Colin Bowden has taken over that number 78 from Joe Lawrence, or he is substituting for him here tonight. Usually Joe Lawrence behind the wheel of that machine. So definitely seeing a little bit of different things going on here tonight with the teams. And other than that, looking pretty standard though.
Yeah, definitely. It's interesting to see the Subway car and Colin Bowden piloting that tonight, but we'll follow all that and more as Mark Murphy took a look to the inside in turns 1 and 2. Nothing going there as Michael Larea, he's trying the middle groove a little bit. It's working out, and he's getting the momentum down the straightaway to stay in front of Mark, and so far these guys, they're still side by side almost. As all the 42 of Mike Finlayson goes around to the back straightaway, also Bradley Burke involved, and caution will come out.
Replay coming up on the screen here. Looks like coming up off the corner. Looks like really Bradley Burke is the one that goes around and collects the 42, and they both end up spinning down the back there. Bradley Burke did get a little more damage than Finlayson did, but either way, back in a caution.
Yeah, definitely back or caution, and Finlayson very lucky not to get caught up in some possible wreckage after that car spun and stopped on the apron. Did a nice job of getting it fired back going. No one hit that car, so good to see, and those guys will come back to pit road for relatively cosmetic damage.
We're going to take a moment here, throw it off the CFI side by side. When we come back, we've got the restart for you.
We are 24 Designs, Jeff Gordon Graphics and more. We make custom graphics, logos, and even iRacing paint schemes. Check us out on the web at www.24-designs.com for a request today. Again, that is 24-designs.com. 24 Designs, where the best graphics are made.
Getting set and ready to go back to green flag racing here. 23 coming to 24 laps into this race. Steve Bonesteel, Shane Doherty up in the booth here as we are set here. Michael Araya and Colin Bowden going to be on the front row here, leading him down to green behind the Ford Mustang pace car here. And Shane, with this race, we've seen a little bit of interesting types of racing so far. We've seen a huge wreck to get this thing kicked off, and that took a lot of great drivers out of contention here. Pace car back down on a pit road, green flag back in the air, and we are racing here once again in Chicago.
Yeah, definitely a lot of interesting developments early on in the race, but I think these guys continue to put it behind their head, and they're going to go 3 and 4 wide once again on this restart and try and make some progress up. Cars all the way up against the wall. Zach Michael, he's trying up there, 3 wide behind him, but Michael Araya up front and leading.
Way back up through the top 10, trying to get up there. Whoa, 3 wide there. And this could get interesting. Doy Woods in the middle. Now J.D. Laird's in the middle. And wow, Colin Bowden going back like a rock there in that number 78. Quickly falling back all the way outside the top 10 already, Shane. Absolutely crazy.
That car got very loose off turn 4 and actually caught a piece of the wall. Just a little bit of a scrape and very minor damage, if anything, on the 78 car, but as you said, Steve, falls outside the top 10. He lost all that momentum down the front straightaway and could possibly far back his 12th here as they're 3 wide in front of him.
Still trying to collect himself there after getting way out of shape. They're losing so many spots. And up in front, Mark Murphy is looking to take the lead away from Lariah. And our pole sitter, Chris Wright, is starting to loom back up in there. Mark Rocklow in the mix as well. Shoved up on the high side. Shane Terrian down on the inside. Michael McLean making the move as well. Just up in front of him there, trying to get around J.D. Laird and Doy Woods. He gets around Laird here, but will he be able to get around Wood?
Tons of side-by-side action all across the top 10 in that middle groove. It's going to prove to be a more effective off the corner for Doy Woods, and he'll pull away and slot right back in front of Michael McLean. So no change for the top 5 spot there, but as these drivers continue to run laps around this track, you're seeing it right there, continuing to move up the racetrack, up the middle groove, and before long could see everyone up toward the top groove, maybe trying to try those things and make their cars go faster.
It's going to be a little while before we start to see those grooves come in, but I'll update you on the drivers out of this race. Mike Teller, Byron Daly, Rally Grant Davis, Joseph Tice, Ryan Dyson, Michael Thompson, all of those drivers involved in that opening caution there. And that is a considerable amount of drivers knocked out of this race from one caution.
Yeah, definitely not what they wanted to see. A couple of those drivers well up in the points. Going to take a hard hit tonight for their finish, so tough break for them, and they'll have to regroup for next week.
Battle for the lead still starting to heat up here. Michael Laraya trying to defend here. Mark Murphy's just biding his time, it looks like right now, trying to figure out which way is going to be the best way to get around this 48 or 44 machine, excuse me. And then looking behind him, Doy Woods and McLean are still fighting, still side by side.
Yeah, well, I have a feeling these battles are going to rage on for a while here with Doy Woods, Mike McLean, and Michael Laraya and Mark Murphy. It's a lot of guys with M's in their names for sure, but for the most part, still single file. You know, really trying to see the limits. It's only lap 32 of 133, so we got quite a lot of ways to go in this race, and I think these guys just trying to figure out what they can and can't do early on before we really start to see some moves.
Now J.D. Laird wants to get around the 51. McLean slips up a little bit. Here comes Tarian as well, as Michael McLean stuck down on that inside line, just not being able to pick up the pace here. And it looks like it's going to get close, but possibly Shane Tarian's going to get up there and around. A little bit of a slip up.
And I think as these guys continue to race, we're starting to see them get loose, and I think that's why that outside groove is starting to come into play, as they're all the way up almost against the wall and a little bit of the shaded area there. Just trying to find grip. When you've got a loose car, the outside lane usually the place to go, and just keep that run off the corners. Michael McLean and Shane Tarian trade some paint down the front straightaway, but nonetheless, these guys adapting to how their cars are handled.
Side by side for the lead here, as it looks like Mark Murphy is going to shoot down to the inside, and 3 and 4 on Laraya. Laraya moving his line a little bit higher each and every time through 3 and 4 here.
Strong run down the front straightaway though, and he will have about a half a car length lead in the turns 1 and 2. Chris Wright, he's slowly creeping his way back up toward these guys in third, and Corey Hoover's trying some different lines behind him back and forth, all within a second of each other, and then it's 2 seconds from the leader back to 5th place Doy Woods, J.D. Laird, Shane Tarian, and all those guys battling behind them, so a little bit of a separation up front between these guys.
Still watching as these drivers are developing their different strategies. Looks like their different styles are getting kicked off here. One driver that I'm watching carefully is Shane Tarian, as he always going to slip up the track, get into the number 78, Colin Bowden. Colin saves it somehow. I cannot believe he was just able to save that.
He's got a lot of left side damage, but wow, as you said, Steve, saves that car. I think he had to use every last bit of the upper groove there, and I think he's lucky this run is relatively short, because now Marble's developing that upper groove, and you can get really sideways. So you get up in that, you could easily go around. It could feel like you almost lose a tire or something like that when you hit Marbles, but definitely didn't there and hung on to the car. Pretty impressive.
Bronson Stafford's getting loose in that pack as well. Pulls it down to the inside line. That could have been a... Well, there's a lot of drivers getting loose right now. Here comes that big run out of Colin Bowden. Probably not too happy about that contact a lap ago.
Yeah, these guys, they might be outside the top 5, but they're still battling like it is for the lead, and doing everything they can as Colin will slide back up in the middle groove in front of Shane, and Shane's going to take the bumper a little bit, actually the chrome horn there in turn 2, and he's going to go right by him on the outside.
Caution is out, And it probably just saved those guys from wrecking here as the number 24 of Corey Blevins goes around.
Looks to be a self spin off turn 2, so a single car spin all by himself goes Corey, and that'll bring out yet again another caution.
Take a look here at that machine. He's rolling into the corner and possibly having a little bit of tire problem, I heard, on that number 94. Yeah, he said it felt like a tire was going down that last time by, and sure enough, there you can see it. It's gone down there in that right rear.
And with that shorter run, that'll bring most of the field to the road for what should be tires and fuel. You might see some strategy calls here, maybe some guys outside the top 5 and even outside the top 10, 2 tires possibly. But for the most part, I think everyone will take 4 tires and fuel and really just get a gauge on the tire wear and really how these cars are reacting to that track.
Very competitive pit times out of pretty much the entire top 10, right on top of each other there, right around the 13.5 to 14 second bracket there. So Shane, with this race so early on, what do you think we're going to see here if we get a long run?
I think definitely these guys being loose that early into the run, that could be very interesting because at least learning from races run here previously on the new surface model, if you're loose to start off here, as the track gets rubbered in, the car is naturally going to get even looser. So if you're out of control to start, oh man, that car is going to be very hard to hang on to after a while, and then you're really going to have to adjust your driving style and probably change your lineup significantly. So we'll continue to see guys search for grip, and if we do get a long run, like you said, Steve, could see a lot of cars struggling with grip off the corner.
And on another note, an exciting week here at Checkered Flag Interactive. Just surpassed our 1 millionth view on YouTube as we continue to expand and continue to get bigger here and hopefully getting better as the time goes on as well. So very, very excited to see that, and hope you're enjoying tonight's broadcast. We've got plenty more good stuff to come here tonight and throughout the upcoming weeks.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure to do work with CFI, and really amazing all the fantastic leagues we get to cover week in and week out at all these different tracks, and really to see some of the stars of iRacing, not necessarily up in the main series, but in these leagues doing a nice job of showing their talents and really showing what sim racing is all about. And anyone not involved in iRacing, well, pretty much why aren't you at this point? It's pretty awesome and one of the most sophisticated simulations really ever created.
Yeah, there are few things that I would consider pretty far off on the service here. This thing is pretty darn incredible.
Pace car lights will go off this time. Field will double up. Michael Larea been pretty dominant so far after regaining the lead. Mark Murphy, he's been up there. He's going to restart third, with your current point leader Corey Hoover has made his way up from a 16th starting position all the way up to second, and this will be his furthest chance to take the lead possibly on this start.
Top 5 as they run, it's Lariah, Corey Hoover, Mark Murphy, Chris Wright, Shane Terry.
.22 cars out of the original 27 that started, still on the lead lap. Plenty of guys still in it at this point. Still pretty far away from halfway. but I think we'll see some more interesting racing here as pace car pulls off. Michael Larea inside line. He's going to hit the gas, and we are once again back underway at Chicago.
Corey Hoover, dead even start there with that 44, is actually beating him down in turn 1 and 2 there. Larea had 48 all over his back bumper. Corey Hoover's already got some damage on that back bumper there. That inside line, though, will prevail through the corner, at least on this first lap here, and that will allow Larea to come up into the outside line. And that'll be beneficial to him because he'll be able to pretty much choose where he wants to be here in 3 and 4, hopping all the way down to the inside line. Nice little arc there. And then still sorting it out, of course, for a few more laps on this restart, but it looks like Michael Larea will comfortably get into the lead for now.
And these guys all on top of each other because they were pretty much flat-footed throughout that entire first lap, and now it'll kind of calm down and they'll have to work the throttle off the corner, especially a lot of guys wiggling. Corey Hoover, especially up there in the higher groove, getting really loose, but doing a nice job of hanging on to that car. So we'll have to see as the run goes on how those guys react to that.
Finlayson trying to recover after that spin just a few minutes ago. He's working right now around Alan Cryer, Mark Roppolo, and then Doy Woods is sitting there behind the boys right now, mid-pack. Shane and Shane Terrian as well, racing up there with JD Laird. JD's always fast. Chris Wright, our pole sitter, down on the inside, actually outside of Mark Murphy.
Got plenty of guys coming to the front as well. The 01 Alan Cryer, he's doing a nice job. Started 26th, actually one of the cars that didn't even register a qualifying time, and he's up into the top 9 now, battling with Mark Roppolo there in around 10th. So Alan's doing a nice job of moving forward, and really that's what you like to see out of guys who start in the back. They make their way toward the front and put themselves in a good position later in the race. And also Corey Hoover, one of those guys, didn't get a good qualifying run, but he's solidly in the top 3.
Train of cars right now trying to figure out where they're going to be faster here. A couple of drivers trying to break that chain and maybe hop down to the inside. It's just not really working right now. Bradley Burke, Michael McLean side by side, and now it's Bradley Burke working on Doy Woods, and Doy Woods is having none of it right there as Michael McLean's getting loose. He's going to head off into the grass. This could be a caution. He's coming back up, so I think he'll be able to save it. Yes, he will there. Very nice job by McLean.
Yeah, that definitely looked a lot easier probably than it was, as he almost gets run over, and he actually does, but the 47 car gets into him. Interesting call there, but Michael McLean does a nice job to hang on to it, went sliding through the grass, gathered it back up, and then once again gathered it back up there.
Laird is trying to now get around Terry and pancake that outside wall a little bit ago. That Monster Energy number 38, like I said, has got that damage there, a little bit slower now. Probably not handling quite how he wants it to. As the field is starting to spread out, he gets real loose down on the inside there. Alan Cryer working still on those drivers. Bradley Burke, the 91 of Doy Woods. He's all in the mix. Oh, and the number 01 of Cryer gets real loose up into the marbles, possibly, and slide job in front of Bradley Burke. And Bradley Burke will take it down to the bottom.
These guys all very loose and pretty much on top of each other in the turns, up against each other because they're fighting for that upper part of the groove, and pretty much less than a foot between these guys, bumper to bumper and fender to fender through the turns.
Corey our points leader by a considerable amount, is working on the number 48 of Mark Murphy. Mark Murphy trying to hold on the inside line, but we've seen it throughout the night that inside just doesn't quite get it done here. So I don't believe he'll be able to do much with it, as it looks like he's going to give it a shot towards that middle line, and still not really getting anywhere with it there. Looks like Corey Hoover will be able to pull him up off that corner. And then side by side, four wide here, coming across the stripe. Mark Garoppolo in the middle, Shane Terrian in the middle, split by Doy Woods and Bronson Stafford. Absolutely insanity, and it's not over yet.
These guys do a nice job to gather it up there. 4 wide. It's something very interesting to see, but we've been on this run a couple laps now, so these guys still all on top of each other, doing the best they can to still race. That's awesome, and really speaks dividends to the new surface model, allowing these guys to stay in it throughout the entire.
Yeah, it's really exciting to see that these guys can actually come out here, go head-to-head. They can race it out a little bit. It used to be, I mean, you really, after your tires got wore out, you really just rode in a line until someone made a mistake, and that's not the case now. Here, as we're approaching halfway, pit stop's still about 30 laps away from right now, so a lot of things are going to change for a lot of drivers out here. Colin Bowden having more issues in the grass. Looks like he'll have to save it there. He's going to fall back.
Another great save off turn 4. Michael McLean made one earlier, and now Colin Bowden does a nice job to hang on to it. Loses some spots, but ultimately hangs on to the racetrack.
We'll take a moment here, throw it off to CFI side by side. When we come back, we've got more for you here.
We are 24 Designs, Jeff Gordon Graphics and more. We make custom graphics, logos, and even iRacing paint schemes. Check us out on the web at www.24-designs.com for requests today. Again, that is 24-designs.com. 24 Designs, where the best graphics are made.
So I was looking at the new Aurora, but then I was thinking, maybe I should get something that looks a little classy. But then I was like, no, I need something that can pull some serious weight. Maybe I don't need all that cargo space. What about the Legionnaire? Now we're talking. How about some bigger guns? Little bigger. No, little bigger. There you go. And maybe some rockets, too. Actually, I should probably upgrade the power plant. I did like the leather seats on that LX, though. Yeah, perfect. All right, let's see what this baby can do.
Field still flying around the speedway here, as we are now at the halfway point at Chicagoland Speedway. Corey Hoover has fallen back to fourth here, but Michael Araya's got a nice 3-second lead here on the speedway over Mark Murphy, J.D. Laird, Corey Hoover, Chris Wright, and then you have to look back for drivers like Bronson Stafford, Michael Finlayson, as Mark Murphy is battling right now with J.D. Laird. J.D. Laird might be winning that battle here as they come up off the corner of that Upper machine using the inside line. Looking pretty darn competitive there. Looks like he might just be able to make that pass. Yes, he will.
And with these guys continuing to run several laps on these tires, they have moved up the racetrack. As you can see, middle groove pretty much, but up toward the wall, especially off the corner there. Corey Hoover almost against the wall, it seems like. The Kyle Larson line, as they call it, the Dale Jr. line, as they used to call it. Really just an interesting development, and that's because these guys are wearing the tires out. The cars are getting looser, and that inside line, not a place to be when you got the car constantly trying to spin out. So trying that higher line, a bigger way around the racetrack, doing better for these guys.
And it's definitely just created an entirely new realm of racing. I mean, there's plenty of ways to make it work here, and you don't have to use that outside line. It just seems like a lot of drivers prefer it, and until they're forced to try something new, that really seems to be the place to go. But the difference is now, when it stops working, you can go down to the inside, and once you use up all the grip down there, and then you can start working back on the outside. So, I mean, there are a lot of things you can do here that you couldn't before. As Finlayson gets loose, he's going to save it. Beautiful save.
Yeah, nice job by Michael to keep it together there, but going back to the point about the racing surfaces, we even saw a pass there up front for the second spot. J.D. Laird went to the inside, the middle groove, technically really the inside line for the time being, and went around Mark Murphy. So you can, you know, if you're not running that line all the time, can at least try to get around a car and then go back to running that higher groove. So all kinds of options, and we're seeing all of them come into play.
And J.D. Laird is quickly working his way up through the field here, but Michael Araya is still stretching that lead. J.D.'s gotten up to second place now. And Corey Hoover, I'm watching him, he's fallen back a little bit as well. he's one of the drivers that I wouldn't expect right now to be struggling. It seems like this is his type of track usually, but he's really struggling here. And then Bradley Burke and Doy Woods, we've seen them battling for the past 20 laps, and that battle's still not done.
It definitely isn't, and these guys, they've been inside the top 10 pretty much all night, but looks like another caution's out on the speed.
This time it's for Shane Tarrant.
Yeah, looks like the 38 car is going to go around off turn 2, and probably a little bit of a victim of getting loose off the corner. The car not handling how he wants it there, and he'll go around.
But he doesn't pick up any considerable damage that I can see from really the spin there. So he should be able to get that damage that he's gotten from earlier relatively fixed up and get it back out there.
And now that we are past halfway, that was a very interesting run. We learned that as the run continued on, these guys get looser and looser, just as we expected. But then they moved all the way up against the wall, it seems like, line-wise. And you could make passes on the inside line, but the outside groove, pretty much the preferred area to be. And also Michael Larea, very fast car out there out front, especially in clean air. He checked out from the entire field. And once again, going to probably bring it down pit road for 4 tires and fuel here.
We are 24 Designs, Jeff Gordon Graphics and more. We make custom graphics, logos, and even iRacing paint schemes. Check us out on the web at www.24-designs.com for requests today. Again, that is 24-designs.com. 24 Designs, where the best graphics are made.
A comm comes over the spectrum with a job. All it says is an amount of cargo, a delicate timetable, and a risky route. You know you've got 42 cubic meters to pack full of profit. We're talking pressurized and shock-resistant construction, so whatever you put in here comes out the same way. You got 2 Arc Duo 400 engines. Their award-winning colloid ion technology gives you maximum fuel efficiency while keeping your sig low. Across a couple of pirates.
Hey, Lancer, you know the drill.
But with a weapons system featuring trusted names like Bering and Kronik. You aren't too worried.
Commercial vessel, Freelancer class. Rig tags look good. Cleared for landing at Area 18.
You're the one they come to when they need a job done right. Because you trust one ship. Misk Freelancer. Built for life.
Field is set and ready to go back to green flag racing here, and we are just outside the fuel window by a few laps. So Shane, that's going to make things interesting. It's going to be Lariah and Laird leading him down to green flag here. As we get ready to go back to green flag racing, these drivers are going to be in store for quite the interesting rest of the race. Green flag up in the air.
And 3 wide for the third spot. J.D. Laird did not get the greatest of restarts, but he also left the middle lane open, and he got pushed up in the groove, and Chris Wright takes advantage of that. He'll take away the third spot there, and J.D. Laird going backwards in a hurry on that outside lane.
Interesting to see how quickly the field is starting to single file themselves out here as the race is quickly coming down to the wire. It's just over 50 laps to go, and Lariah's got Murphy looking underneath for the top spot here in the 3 and 4. He's going to be able to make the dive. Will he do the slide job and really get crossed over? No, he won't. Move Mark Murphy up to the lead for the first time of the night.
Very strong pass, easily completed it, and went all the way down to the white line to do it. And with those newer tires, definitely able to make it work. And Mark Murphy, that car's been very strong on 1.5 miles all season. He won the Las Vegas race, one of the first 1.5 miles on the season. He's always had the speed throughout, and tonight is no different. He's ran second pretty much the entire night, but as you said, Steve, out front for the first time, and I guess he's learning just how loose it really is a little bit squirrely there off turn 4.
Lariah looks underneath of him here, going through the corner. Not going to be able to keep the momentum up down on the inside line. Mark Murphy almost into the outside wall. Here comes our pole sitter, Chris Wright, back into the action here, trying to make something work for him here. As this race has continued on, he's been very, very quiet, made a quick early pit stop, got out of the action up at the front of the field, and I think that made him kind of a dark horse, I'd like to say here, as we almost forgot about him for the majority of the start of this thing, aside from the fact that he was the pole sitter. So we'll just have to see here and see how he can do once they start battling, as J.D. Laird's got a battle going on with him.
Definitely does, and this is around the 5th spot is Bradley Burke in that 2 car. He's had a pretty up and down night, but back inside of the top 4 on the outside groove he is, and doing a nice job of recovering. That car has been in the wall, been involved in a wreck or 2 here and there, and he's done a nice job to just get back to where he was at the start of the race and make forward progress here as we get down in the later stages.
Corey Hoover is also stalking right now. We've talked about him on and off. Very, very quiet here today. But I'm just so intrigued right now watching the top 3 battle it out. All 3 are drivers we haven't seen much of this season. Mark Murphy, Mariah, looks right, been very, very quiet for the majority of the season. Now we're seeing him pick up the pace as the season goes along here. And I've got a feeling that they could be competitors. Maybe not in the points battle, but as the season continues on, we've still got 7-8 races left. We might see them be some pretty fast cars for the remainder of this season.
Yeah, definitely could, Steve. And, you know, really with this new dynamic track surface, the guys who are learning the most out there are the guys out front, because they're trying different lines and racing up against the fastest guys in the field. And, you know, they're ultimately the ones right now, those three we're talking about, that have really got a hold on this mile and a half and how the track is changing throughout the entire run, and the speed is showing, and they continue to pull away from the rest of the field.
Mariah just cannot quite get back to the lead here. He's led 71 laps so far. He's clinched the most laps led in that number 44 Auto Light machine. Gets a little bit squirrely down on the inside there, and not really losing any time, but not gaining any either.
Now he's going to try that inside line at 3 and 4. Not a lot of room down to the white line, and he's going to try and see if he can take the shorter way around here. Battle for the lead down the front straightaway.
This time, he might get a little bit of a nose going through 1 and 2 as Mark Murphy gets a little bit loose as well. And he's going to stay dead even with him down the back straightaway in dead heat going into 3 and 4. If he can push that 48 up into a little bit of a higher line, he might be able to make it work. He'll make the dive. Will he do the slide job? Yes, he will. He'll get back to the lead.
Very strong and had a very big lead that last before that last caution, I should say, happened. So Michael Larea back in the lead and goes right to the inside groove there, and definitely shows it a little bit. Goes up the track. Mark Murphy's loose as well. All these guys pushing it very hard here as they continue to battle hard for the lead.
Hopping on board here, Corey Hoover cautions out. Looks like Michael McLean's going to be in trouble here down the back. Got the replay queued up for you. We'll take a look. It looks like blown tire there. We've seen 2 or 3 of these so far tonight, and it just loops around on them.
Definitely, and talk about turn 2 being the big trouble spot. I've seen a lot of the cautions happen there, and Michael's pretty lucky that back straightaway is as big as it is, because he goes around and plenty of room to gather the car back up and bring it back to pit road.
We are 24 Designs, Jeff Gordon Graphics and more. We make custom graphics, logos, and even iRacing paint schemes. Check us out on the web at www.24-designs.com for requests today. Again, that is 24-designs.com. 24 Designs, where the best graphics are made.
A comm comes over the spectrum with a job. All it says is an amount of cargo, a delicate timetable, and a risky route. You know you've got 42 cubic meters to pack full of profit. We're talking pressurized and shock-resistant construction, so whatever you put in here comes out the same way. You got two Arc Duo 400 engines. Their award-winning colloid ion technology gives you maximum fuel efficiency while keeping your sig low. Across a couple of pirates.
Hey, Lancer, you know the drill.
But with a weapons system featuring trusted names like Bering and Kronik, you aren't too worried.
Commercial vessel, freelancer class. Red tags look good. Cleared for landing in Area 18.
You're the one they come to when you need a job done right. Because you trust one ship. Misk Freelancer. Built for life.
And welcome back here as we are getting closer and closer. The final quarter of the race pretty much coming up here. And Shane, big loss. We were talking about it there. It's going to be a large loss for Laraya there. As I'm looking at the stats, I'm impressed right now with Mark Murphy, Chris Wright, especially Chris Wright. He fell all the way back outside the top 10, made that pit stop early on, got him off cycle. And looking at his graph right now, he's been really doing a nice job working his way up through the field. And now he's right there as the pace car is going to pull on down, release the beast. We're going to have just about 40 laps to go here at Chicagoland Speedway, and we are back to racing.
Yeah, something happened on the stop for Michael Larrea, and he's going to be all the way back in 9th. His green flag is back out. Mark Murphy back in the lead, and these guys are not hesitant to go 2 and even 3 wide here back in the pack, trying to make something happen as they're all on top of each other off turn 2.
And these restarts have been so exciting here, and for us it's been exciting. For the drivers it's been nerve-wracking, and I mean, it's much of the same here as we're spreading out 3 abreast. Across the stripe, contact there. Colin Bowden gets into Shane Terry multiple times, knocking doors. Possibly still a little bit salty from earlier contact, and more contact there. They're going around. We got a big wreck forming up here. Well, a couple of drivers getting involved. Looks like, oh, Corey Hoover's, oh, what a beautiful job Corey Hoover just did to avoid that. Absolutely.
Gonna have to, yeah, we're gonna have to look into how he was even back or outside the top 15 and almost absolutely destroyed was Corey, and does a nice job to get through.
Look at that from above. He sees it all happening in front of him. Oh my gosh, just inches from nailing Colin Bowden. He avoids it.
I think those front rotors were going probably on that car, trying to get it slowed down, and he did a fantastic job. Not a scratch, nothing on that 33 car for Corey Hoover. Fantastic job, and he'll get to live another day after that one.
And Shane, I'm watching right now on the replay. Looks like we've got a frustrated Shane Tarian there. Looks like he was gunning for that number 78, and looking at the replay here, I'll keep my eyes on it. We'll see if there was any other further altercation here, as Colin Bowden sees what's coming for him in his mirror. Yeah, Shane Tarian not very happy. Oh, and definitely not an appropriate response, the least there out of Shane Tarian, and I'm sure the UpperEdge officials will be taking that up with him. Definitely no need to be using a car as a weapon down on the track here at any time. And possibly might see some penalties out of that one.
It was Shane Terrian and also a little bit of Michael McLean was getting into it there, but all these guys get involved in this wreck and really just hard racing. It's been all night, and these guys all on top of each other, as I continue to say on the restart, because they're pretty much flat-footed, on the throttle the entire way, not a lot of room to spare. And Colin Bowden been one of those drivers. He's been up toward the front all night, but at the same time he's been into it with a couple of guys, and ultimately all of them caught up in that one.
That's something as a driver you never want to do out there. Start using that car to, you know, get back at the other drivers. I mean, it's all a simulator, but when it comes down to it, that's just not appropriate.
And the officials do a nice job in the series with the officiating, and they'll look at that and assess if any action needs to be taken from that. But they all done throughout the week, and we still got a race here at this point to finish up. And focus on that is Mark Murphy. He's still out in the lead. J.D. Laird, Chris Wright, Mark Roppolo, and Bradley Burke, your top 5 here as they get the 2 to green.
I was hoping to get a ring in with in-race reporter here, but currently no one sitting here in TeamSpeak, so won't be able to talk to anyone down on pit road. So, Shane, I don't know, man. With we're gonna go green with just over 3 laps to go. Who knows what we're gonna see here?
Got a lot of fast cars toward the front, and some guys making their way back toward there. Corey Hoover and Michael Larea, more specifically, but that's just a product of good racing, and we saw that once again. Guys vying for spots here, and we're to that point in the race where there's not a lot of room to give, and you know, guys are going to do anything they can to get the track position late.
And really, I mean, that's what makes this series so exciting. So many drivers gunning for it at pretty much any given time here, and that's what makes the series so great. So many big names going at it, but here tonight in Chicagoland, really out of the ordinary for the series. We've seen a lot of really rough, really tough racing out here, and it's been pretty brutal.
Definitely has, and these restarts, they create all that racing because the guys, like I said before, full throttle, so everyone's at the same point. It's basically track position, using the draft to your advantage, and hanging on to the car as loose as it is to start off, and really throughout the entire run, the guys who hang on to it the most, well, they have the best chance of staying toward the front and staying in front of everybody at this point. So, see on this restart, really who gets a good start and who maybe get mired back in the field.
Pace cars back down onto pit road. We wait for the green flag to fly. There it is, back to green flag racing here. Dead even start for the top row.
Great start by Mark Murphy. J.D. Laird, he's in the outside there. 3 wide in the back. Zach Michael all the way up against the wall.
And we'll see how that one works out from Layson all the way down to the bottom. Krasinski in the middle. And it looks like they will sort that one out, but they are still all over the place. Here comes Corey Hoover and Hunt Brothers Pizza Machine looking all the way down. Mark Roppolo hit the outside wall there. From almost outside the top 10 to 6 position comes Corey Hoover as he is all in the mail there, wrecking in the back there again. That's going to be a large wreck. 2 cars, actually.
Big wreck off turn 4. Got plenty of guys involved, as you said, Steve, and once again, close racing produces a caution.
Pull up the replay there. Looks like Mark Garoppolo just got nailed into the wall by Doy Woods, and that number 51, Michael McLean, gets turned around as well. Unfortunately, back under caution once again.
It's been a tough night for Mike Lane, and that's another wreck that car's been involved in, and he's still running relatively okay after contact with the wall, but nonetheless caught up and once again arguing for space. And Doy Woods, we've seen him battling close all night, and unfortunately runs out of room there. And I think these guys really trying to get into a rhythm, but haven't been able to so far.
We are 24 Designs, Jeff Gordon Graphics and more. We make custom graphics, logos, and even iRacing paint schemes. Check us out on the web at www.24-designs.com for requests today. Again, that is 24-designs.com. 24 Designs, where the best graphics are made.
A comm comes over the spectrum with a job. All it says is an amount of cargo, a delicate timetable, and a risky route. You know you've got 42 cubic meters to pack full of profit. We're talking pressurized and shock-resistant construction, so whatever you put in here comes out the same way. You got two Arc Duo 400 engines. Their award-winning colloid ion technology gives you maximum fuel efficiency while keeping your sig low. Across a couple of pirates.
Hey, Lancer, you know the drill.
But with a weapon system featuring trusted names like Bering and Cronin, you aren't too worried.
Commercial vessel, Freelancer class. Red tags look good. Cleared for landing at Area 18.
Line back up. We're going green with 30 laps to go. So about half of a run here left in the UpperEdge CMC Sportsman. Been a rough race for a lot of drivers, to say the least, Shane. A lot of contact going on here tonight. Pace car pulling, releasing the cars one more time here. We'll see how this restart goes for the guys up front. Bradley Burke inside that top 5 there. Beautiful job by him, but Mark Murphy gets away with a good start. Chris Wright on the outside trying to follow him through and just won't quite get that runway or momentum to put into the corner.
Yeah, inside line working a lot better there, and Mark's doing a nice job staying in the lead, but here come more guys on the outside now getting a little bit of steam down the back straightaway. Michael Larea, the only guy on the inside for the time being there, as Bradley Burke goes a little bit high, and Chris Wright as well up into the turn, but they do a nice job to gather it back up, but Mark Murphy continues to lead.
And Larea is the driver all there, and he's going to be making the passes sideline, and he's getting a little bit loose coming through 1 and 2, but he's doing a nice job to maintain.
Yeah, he's got a fast car, had a great lead early on, and like you said, Steve's already clinched the most laps led, so that 44 car, Michael Larea, definitely a contender for the win in the late going, and now up to second. It's going to be in hot pursuit here of Mark Murphy, possibly to take away the lead.
Bradley Burke's battling back there with Chris Wright. Chris Wright's on that inside line, our pole sitter here tonight. He's had a fast car, just hasn't been able to do much with it, it seems. A lot of bad luck's been going his way about these restarts and how everything happens when he does come down the road. So that number 20, he might have some speed there, but he's just not being able to utilize it.
And also in the back of that field, the 33, Corey Hoover, he's made his way up from the back after almost getting involved in one of those wrecks back up to the 6th spot, and he's coming in the outside lane looking for a top 5, and also J.D. Laird dives underneath Bradley Burke there. That's the battle for 4th. So all these guys, they know it's go time, and they're not going to watch these guys out front pull away. They're going to get every spot they can and try and join those leaders up front.
Zach Michael also trying to be on the move here, but it looks like Alan Pryor is working his way through the top 10. He might be one of the bigger movers here in the later parts of this race as he's looking to get around through Mason as well. We haven't seen much of him here today, but what we have seen has been some speed. And then looking back up to the front, that auto light number 44 still trying to get around Mark Murphy.
Yeah, he takes a peek to the inside line there, and he's going to be there into turn 1, and Mark Murphy, he'll move up to the middle lane, try and get the momentum off the corner, but Michael Larea using that inside line, shorter way around the racetrack to get underneath, and they're going to pretty much be side by side for the lead in turn 3.
And he'll make that pass, but the crossover is what we got to watch for here. And I don't think Mark Murphy's going to be able to do it unless he makes a huge dive here. 24 laps remaining at Chicagoland, and the battle for the lead is heating up. 3 players right now for this top spot, and it's going to be who's going to be in the right place at the right time, I do believe, Shane, to be the one who will come away victorious.
I think that 20 car, Chris Wright's really, he's just looking back at which lane's working the best, maybe even trying something himself, the outside one lap, maybe the inside the next lap. He's not necessarily in the battle for the lead, but he's just trying to learn, see, which line works best, maybe to use later on these 2 guys in front of him. Kind of be go to school on these guys, as they used to say, and try and figure out maybe which line's going to be the best pass to maybe eventually make for the lead.
Meanwhile, Corey Hoover is trying to defend the positions up behind him, and he's not being able to do much. He's trying to get back up to that top 5, and he just made the pass of Bradley Burke. And other than that, Shane, this battle for the lead is really what we got to keep our eyes on.
Definitely is, and Michael Larea goes low, but huge block by Mark Murphy. Really, I guess, meticulous placement of the car there, not necessarily a block, but nonetheless, driving defensive in the lead, trying to hang on all he can, and with that preferred groove starting to shift maybe back to the outside line, Michael Larea, he'll jump up there and pretty much tries to make a run, but nothing doing there.
And it's good to see that these drivers are moving around as they are. Chris Wright gets loose. They're looking for the grip, trying to figure out where it is, struggling a little bit to find it, but I think these drivers are doing a nice job moving around the track, utilizing as much as possible, and that's what you got to do to be fast.
Yeah, definitely, especially with the new surface model introduced. It's all about adaptability. It's learning what your car is doing and what the track is doing as well, and what it will continue to do throughout the run, and then adjusting your line, the way you drive the race car, and just how you race other people in general all around, and really who puts together all three of those variables ends up toward the front, and in this case in the lead in the late going. Mark Murphy, Michael Larrea, they've been pretty much the two guys up front the entire night that have mastered that, and they're going to be in a pretty heated battle for the lead here as we're getting down to just about under 20 to go.
Yeah, as the laps continue to click off, we've only got 18 cars still running on track, Shane, so it has been a pretty brutal night.
Definitely has. Lots of we've seen some big wrecks, and at the same time we've seen some single car wrecks pretty much off the corner. These guys dealing with loose race cars, and it's been a pretty overall in general the cars have been pretty loose tonight, so they've been hanging on to the car, and doing the best you can with what you've got. And as the track continues to get loose, JD Laird, he catches a piece of the apron, almost loses it, but does a nice job to gather it back up.
And still the Mark Murphy and Michael Larrea show up at the front of the field here, 18 laps to go. They're still the fastest cars on track by about a tenth or so. So, I mean, we'll just have to see if they start to pull away a little bit more from Chris Wright, and if they do, if they start battling again, how that's going to change how things look up here. A driver we have not talked about. Scrolling all the way back over to 9th place, currently battling with Michael McLean. Brandon Madonia is back here in the UpperEdge Racing CMC Sportsman Series, making his first debut. I do believe he raced with us all the way back in the Truck Series over in Season 1. And it looks like he is struggling there with that. Number 11 machine got some considerable damage and losing a lot of spots there, falling back all the way to 14th currently.
Yeah, definitely might have jinxed him there, because that car all of a sudden having problems. Don't quite understand what's going on with
look
the
at this,
11 car.
Shane.
Yeah, definitely. Larrea takes a look to the inside as the attention's back up to the lead, and Mark Murphy, he's on the outside, drips high, going to get a little bit loose, and they're going to pretty much be dead even across the finish line.
And this is some great racing right now up for the top spot. These two have been going at it like no other. Here, trading lines, trading positions, side by side, dead heat. A little bit of a bobble out of the 44 of Larrea, and diving it into the corner here. Who's going to be able to get it? And it looks like that inside line's got a little more speed up off the corner. Will he be able to fall in the line? No, he won't. The 48 still got a nose coming up off the corner here, coming across the stripe. Dead even almost once again, but Larrea has the edge that time.
So pretty heated battle back behind him for third, so really not losing anything, trying to get the top spot, and they want the clean air, they want to be out front, and looks like a very heated battle back there. JD Laird slots into third in front of Chris Wright. Pretty impressive pass there, but just anything Michael Larrea can do at this point to take the lead from the inside line, he is trying, and looks like this time by he might have the run to do it.
Larrea did make that pass there on the 48 of Mark Murphy. Now let's see if Mark Murphy tries to come back. Huge run out of 48. Oh, he's getting real loose there, trying to figure out where to take it, as this is getting good.
And if these guys continue to battle for the lead, and those guys, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, JD Laird, Chris Wright, and Corey Hoover, if they can maybe get together and work together and kind of realize that, hey, you know, maybe a battle for the lead and the win is still possible, they could possibly catch this front two and make it a 5-car battle for the lead, and boy, would that be interesting to watch. So, have to see how that goes for Michael. But right now, Michael Larrea pulling away and doing the best he can, at least to hang on, but Mark Murphy using that trap to stay close.
Murphy just cannot get back around the 44 as the laps continue to click off. Can't really pay much attention to what's going on in the rears though, and that's J.D. Laird currently matching them lap for lap on times on track right now. So, I mean, Shane, we could easily have up to a 5-car battle for this top spot as this continues on.
And we've seen guys when they battled side by side tonight, especially when they've been in the middle to upper grooves, so there's not a lot of room off the corners, and that's where we've seen a majority of wrecks, is guys either getting loose off and spinning out or just getting into each other because of the lack of room really off the corners. So if that could come into play for the battle for the lead, could definitely maybe see those guys, those third, fourth, and those fifth place drivers come back into play, but at least at the time being, it's going to be Michael Laraya and Mark Murphy to battle it out.
Alan Cryer continues to move up through the top 10. He's now into 8th position there, as that 0-1 has been probably the biggest dark horse of the race. Been quiet but quick, and running under the radar by far.
As all of 42 of Michael Finlayson gets a piece of the wall there in turns 3 and 4. That'll hand over the 7th position to Alan Cryer. So Alan, he's moving forward, and if we get a quick caution here, he's one of those guys that maybe wouldn't mind a chance to maybe get a top 5, and who knows, maybe even a top 3.
Well, I'm sure he definitely wouldn't mind a chance to get the top 5. He wouldn't say, no, keep the top 5, but as these laps continue on, it's going to be down to the wire. I do believe we'll have to get a caution now if we're going to want to get another restart, Shane. I mean, we're watching these laps click off really quickly. Mark Murphy's falling back a little bit from Laraya, and that 44 is just running consistent, about a 10th and a half quicker every lap.
Yeah, it definitely is, and really everybody knows that we are toward the end of the race and it is go time. Use those tires up, find the best grooves that you find your car is working at the moment, and just move as forward as you can. But these guys out front, they're checking out and really making it a 2-horse race here in the closing laps.
Murphy is trying back there. I mean, you can see he's swerving, fishtailing up off the corners, just not getting the runs that he needs here. And Laraya just continues to pull away.
Yeah, I think definitely when he got loose off turn 2 there, I think that pretty much shows that car out of tires, at least for Mark. And I think it's going to probably take a mistake from Michael Laraya up there in the lead for Mark Murphy to maybe get back to him. At least he's going to try the middle group there in 1 and 2. He'll have a little bit of a run down the back straightaway, but really not enough to make up any progress here. We're coming to about 4 laps to go. So definitely he's going to be searching all over, just trying to find that one patch of grip maybe to close it out.
Laps to go here, and that gap is stretched out to over half of a second. J.D. Laird has fallen off of the pace, and right now it's just Laraya heading around the speedway, looking absolutely incredible here. And I tell you what, that driver has done a beautiful job right now. This is great.
It's been a great night for Michael. He's going to end up leading the most laps by far. Had a great comeback despite having problems on pit road, and he's been the long run car so far of the field at least, and A little bit loose off that turn there, but still going to be another fantastic lap here as they're going to get ready to wind this thing down. Now 2 laps to go.
Top 5 as we've got only 2 laps left. Lariah Murphy, J.D. Laird, Corey Hoover, Chris Wright, as that's your top 5 here. Coming around, taking a look at the things going on track. Not really much going on. A battle for 10th is currently the only major thing going on. We've got 3 drivers there right on top of each other. Doy Woods, Krasinski, as well as the 14 of Zach Michael. Almost a little bit of contact there coming up off the corner. Still 8/10 up front. Not missing anything up there. It's just this battle for 10.
Yeah, these guys do the best they can. Krasinski, he's been involved in some wrecks. Doy Woods done a nice job to come back. And Zach Michael, as they're all almost on the top of each other, they're off the corner.
And coming across through turns 3 and 4, it's Michael Araya with a nice lead. Should be able to come away with this one with ease here, but we'll keep our eyes on this battle for 10th coming up off the corner. Doy Woods going to take it down to the inside, but Zach Michael will block him, and coming across the stripe, they're very impressive. Now, they're wrecking across the line in front of him. Chad Coleman there pulls out onto the track, and not entirely sure what just happened.
Yeah, that's interesting. Also, Zach Michael hit for that car after the finish, but that's Michael Laria going to bring it home. And
looks like the 6 of Chad Coleman there coming across the stripe was just wrecking there and down to the back of the 0-1. And yeah, hard hit for them, but it's the end of the race. But regardless, here, after dominating for 90 laps here tonight, it's going to be Michael Araya being victorious here. After that Autolite machine, we've seen him on pit road have some issues. One of the few cars basically scratchless.
And it really was a scratchless night with that slight hiccup on pit road, the only culprit of the night really for Michael. And this is another dominating winner in 1.5 miles, and we have a lot of 1.5 miles or just intermediates in general left on the schedule as well. So definitely looking good for Michael. Another solid night by Corey Hoover in the points. Obviously, Austin Hartenfeld's not in attendance tonight, going to hurt his championship hopes, but nonetheless, going to be a very interesting race coming to a close here tonight, and lots of guys end up with great finishes.
Taking a look at the final results here, Michael Araya did come away victorious, as we all saw. Mark Murphy second, Laird, Hoover, Wright, Bradley Burke, Finlayson, Cryer, McLean, Krasinski, Zach Michael, Doy Woods, Mark Ropolo after Thomas Story 13th, Brendan Bedonia 15th, Tom Bourne, and then Chad Coleman, Jason Thompson. Everybody else either did not finish or multiple laps down. And as the number 44 will take his victory lap here, Shane, what do you think we have to look for going into next week?
Well, we got all kinds of things to look forward to in next week, and it's going to be another one of those races where, you know, you're looking at it, going into Indianapolis is going to be, you know, you might think it's going to be spread out, but I think with the new dynamic surface model, we're going to really see some awesome racing there. Draft going to be of big importance to that. Going to probably see a lot of slingshots and guys trying to stay toward the front, use that track position, do the best they can, and ultimately get the finish they want.
Well, for everybody up here in the Checkered Flag Interactive booth, no one stopped in on TeamSpeak here today, so we cannot really get any interviews in, but we will definitely be seeing you next time here next week.